Today's April 14th, tomorrow is the 15th, and it's also the day of Leonardo da Vinci's birthday, where in the secret language of birthdays, it's the day of human definition, as this picture is shown with a man with multiple arm drawings and leg drawings, like the motion of what you can accomplish, I guess, if you want to put it that way. But it's also tax day and like the day to pay the piper. And I was looking at the periodic table, how you have three main elements that really create life on this planet. You have water, but you also have with carbon. So H2O, it's 2 hydrogen, 1 oxygen, and then you have carbon introduced to it, where there was a meteorite called Shungite that was 2 billion years old that crashed here, and they say it actually helped oxygenating this planet with how it affected it. And when you take carbon, you could actually make structures in the water. So if you start off with just oxygen and hydrogen, you're gonna have water, but you're not gonna have anything else. And the period where they show everything that really started 2 billion years ago, it makes sense actually if you think about it, where everything needs something to build off of. And I have a friend that had a near-death experience where his girlfriend was killed in front of him, and he could see spirits after that, and he could actually see spirits around everyone. Sometimes people had 2 people around them, but it shows that there's another realm where it's a different body that we don't normally see. But he also mentioned how people go through lives going through male to female and even different ethnic backgrounds. So it's not really your image, I guess, if you can remember it in one way, as it changes. So if you get tattoos everywhere, it's not going to really carry through to the next life. But it shows how life finds a way. So when it talks about in the Bible how God will breathe life into the dust, if you just take a simple element like oxygen and argon that's really close to dust, you can create life actually. If you take just oxygen, hydrogen, and carbon, you can create life in water. And what's interesting about all that is, if you think about how old this earth is, how it's much older than 6,000 years old, as the Bible talks about, well, you start seeing how everything became to be the way it is. And I know people just want everything to end and be destroyed, but that's also the great deception if you really think about it, because if it took that long to create a human that has trillions of cells in its body, but you could watch a single cell organism die and just dissipate into nothing. Watching a single cell organism dissipate into nothing. But then we think about how many trillions of cells are in our body, how so many cells are dying every day in our body, but they're reborn. If you think about how big the universe is, we're all a reflection of what we are part of, if that makes sense. We could look under our skin in a microscope and we'd see all these things going on, but then in our brain we think we're the only thing going on, when it's really kind of selfish when you think about how complex human nature really is and how far along we came to be at the point we're at, and just thinking that we should all just destroy each other because we're going to go to someplace better, where it took literally an unfathomable amount of time to understand how we got to this place, to even understand we're at the place we're at, if that makes sense. So I'd like to end this message with, if tomorrow is the day of human definition, spend tonight and actually think about what that means, so tomorrow can actually make a difference. Love you. Have a good day.